Hey, welcome everyone. Apparently the music's off today. It's always something, right? It's always something. Probably need one of those Hollywood studio engineers to help me out. So let's get to it, ladies and gentlemen. Gather round, because we got a Hollywood tale with a twist. We're diving into the strike looming over Tinseltown, and let me tell you, there's more to this story than meets the eye. Now, while actors are demanding higher pay, protection from AI, and bigger residuals, there's an elephant on the picket line that needs to be talking about. That's the government. Yeah, Hollywood, that glittering bastion of free speech and progressive ideals. They've been suspiciously silent when it comes to challenging or criticizing the government lately, especially the last couple of years, if you know what I mean. And let's face it, folks, some of the economic distress and inflation we're experiencing can be attributed to those very policies supported by the entertainment industry. You see, while actors are fighting for their fair share, there's a bigger fight that needs attention. That's the battle against government incompetence and endless wars that drain our coffers faster than a summer blockbuster's budget. Where are the Hollywood stars speaking out against the bloated defense budget? Yeah. Where are the scathing critiques of reckless spending and policies that harm the economy? Sure, we've seen the occasionally politically charged acceptance speech at award shows, but let's be honest, those moments feel about as genuine as a CGI superhero. Hollywood's been content to cozy up to the government, enjoying tax incentives and turning a blind eye to the consequences of their policies. Now, I'm not saying every actor needs to turn into a political pundit overnight, but when the same industry that loves to lecture us about climate change and income inequality fails to take a hard look at the very system perpetuating these issues, it's time to raise an eyebrow. Imagine if Hollywood used its powerful voice to hold the government accountable. Demanding fiscal responsibility and sensible policies. We might just see a Hollywood strike that extends far beyond the studio lots and disrupts the halls of power. Lights, camera activism. But no, it seems that the showbiz glitterati are more interested in their own paychecks than tackling the root causes of our economic woes. That's a missed opportunity. When Hollywood stands up for the people, when they challenge the powers that be, that's when the real magic happens. I remind you that sometimes the biggest villains aren't found in movies, but in the halls of power. My name's Tom Coffey. This is a Coffee and Nuance show, best censored commentary and news show live right now. Flame on. Yeah, give me 1 sec. Let's see if we can... I tripped over some wires right before the show, and obviously I've unplugged something. Damn it. All right, no music today. Oh well. Anyway, here's the story. Hollywood Actors Union, SAG-AFTRA, has recommended a strike after talks with studios broke down. They want higher pay, protection from AI replacing their work, and increased residuals in the streaming age. The strike would join the ongoing strike of the Writers Guild of America, disrupting shows and movies. Studios offered pay increases and AI protection, but negotiations stalled. The strike would halt U.S.-based productions and create further economic damage. Boom. Well, again, like I say, look in the mirror, Hollywood, you know. I just, you know, it's become just a cliche of the Hollywood lecturing the rest of the country on how to live right and, you know, what we should support and what we don't support. But they've been supporting all these policies like the war in Ukraine, like just this huge, you know, printing of money, this just everything economically that's happening. You know, these hundreds of billions of dollars, you know, that are just being, I guess, laundered through Ukraine into the military-industrial complex. That has an effect on everyone's money. And I didn't hear anything about it from Hollywood. Not one word. Other than to shut up and, you know, I don't know, defund the police or some crap, you know. But I didn't hear anything. Well, the chickens have come home to roost, I guess. And looks like we're not going to have any production of anything. Right? We're not going to produce any more entertainment. And that gets me to, you know, I threatened earlier in the spring. I wanted to try doing a different show, Coffee After Dark. Since there's not going to be any new live entertainment, I'm still seriously considering doing that. It's funny. I am right on the edge of having my channel reviewed to get monetized again. And perhaps at that point, maybe they will take their thumb off the scale and my channel will be able to grow again. I think I'm about 8 hours short of watch time for the year. So I've just been holding off on that because I just wanted to see what would happen. But we're there. I'm going to talk with some people, and I will figure out if maybe I do a late night show once a week, you know. But I gotta sort that out in the next couple of days. Yeah, I kind of like the name Coffee After Dark, even though that seems to be taken on all the social medias. So I'll have to figure out a good name for it. Anyway, I got an interesting show with no bumper music. I guess I could say it, right? Or, you know what, let's see. We'll hear it very slightly through the mic. I'll turn it up really loud. So maybe we'll hear just a touch of the music, but it's frustrating. Anyway, got a number of stories to get to today. And the last one, some good news, is about everyone's favorite subject, and that's guacamole. So you're going to want to stick around for that. Do me a favor, hit the like button. It lets the algorithm know that you like the show. Doesn't cost you anything, and I appreciate it. You could do that. Anyway, let's get to the scary news first, and we'll get that out of the way. There, see, I could put the music in the speakers, and then, you know, it kind of works, I guess. Did you hear about the Biden administration's hesitation to send missiles to Ukraine? On one hand, they acknowledge Ukraine's dire need for ammunition, but on the other hand, they're worried about escalating the conflict. It's like watching a tennis match between let's help Ukraine and let's not piss off Russia too much. But knowing the administration's track record, I wouldn't be surprised if they end up serving up those missiles faster than a tennis ball served at Wimbledon. More war. It's tough to say. More war. It's the one game where they just can't resist getting in on the action. Now, the United States is hesitant to send Army tactical missile systems to Ukraine, despite France and Britain providing long-range cruise missiles. There's a debate within the Biden administration over whether to send them due to concerns about escalating the potential attacks on Russia. The United States has already agreed to send other weapon systems to Ukraine, but it's cautious about providing these long-range missiles. The decision is still under discussion. But we've seen this. We can recognize patterns. How many times do they float something out and then they just follow up and do it anyway? Hey, we're not going to do this. Oh, we're going to do this. Oh, mortar bombs? Those are bad. Those are horrible. You should never use more. Oh, we'll send them. You know, this is what happens. They float something out there, and then that's just to get us used to the idea, and then they follow up and they do it. So, I think this is the dumbest, worst thing that we can do. Hey, do you think long-range missiles are good for the environment? What do you think? What do you think? I don't want to hear anyone tell me about the environment. If you're supporting escalating a war with the one country with the most nukes in the history of mankind, okay? Stop. Just shut up, okay? This next election can't come soon enough. But I suspect, this is my prediction, we're sending long-range missiles to Ukraine. Yeah. It's my prediction. I hope I'm wrong. I would celebrate if I were wrong on this, but unfortunately, I seem to have a really good track record on predictions about this particular topic. So, anyway, let's get to some more ironic news. I need longer interludes so I can get everything set right. Have you heard the latest from Georgia Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene? Yeah, the same politician who's often criticized and vilified almost daily in the press. Well, she filed amendments to end assistance to Ukraine and withdraw from NATO. Where have we heard that would be a good idea? Now, hold on for a second. I can practically hear the anti-war left scratching their head and wondering, wait, are we supposed to agree with now? But hey, let's give credit where it's due. Maybe, just maybe, this is a wake-up call for everyone. When even the most polarizing figures can challenge the status quo, it's a reminder that we should approach each issue on its merits rather than just following party lines. So the next time you find yourself agreeing with Marjorie Taylor Greene, take a moment and reflect and ask, where's the anti-war left? So here's the story. MTG, she filed 6 amendments during a House Rules Committee hearing on the National Defense Authorization Act. The amendments aim to stop assistance to Ukraine and withdraw the U.S. from NATO. I start talking about this subject and I start buffering. We'll have to see. Anyway, the amendments aim to stop assistance to Ukraine and withdraw the U.S. from NATO. Greene argued that funding for Ukraine should be halted until a diplomatic solution is reached with Russia. She criticized NATO, saying that it's an unreliable partner, and called for increased financial contributions from Western European countries. The amendments were presented while President Biden was at the NATO summit, while Ukraine was a key topic. So, yeah, I think, was it this week I called for an end to the U.S. ought to back out of NATO? Find myself agreeing more and more with this very divisive person. You know, but again, this is a thing. Let's look at what the person is saying and not all the baggage that the person has. And I know that's so difficult for so many people. They're incapable of agreeing with someone, even if they actually agree with them, but they won't agree with them if they don't like them or if they're on the other team. And if you do that, you're being played. You're a sucker, you're a simp, you're a cuck, and you don't have any principles. That's my opinion. But I know that I'm in the minority here. I have no problem agreeing with People on the right, people on the left, people that hate them both. I got no problem with that. And you should really be open-minded enough to listen to someone's ideas and not just dismiss it because of the person that's saying it. Because sometimes the message is more important than the messenger. And I think we forget that a lot. So let's get to some more White House nonsense, shall we? Did you hear about the White House warning the critic reporter? Seems like they've got a strict no questions from critics policy. Who needs a free press when you can have an obedient press? Am I right? Accountability and transparency take a back seat to a tightly controlled narrative. So reporters, if you want to keep your White House press pass, just remember to ask softball questions and shower the administration with praise. Democracy. Am I right? So here's the story. The White House has issued a formal warning to reporter Simon Ateba, threatening to revoke his entry pass if he continues to disrupt daily press briefings. Press Secretary Greene Jean-Pierre has refused to acknowledge his request to ask questions, leading to confrontations between the two. Ateba who claims to be a victim of racism and discrimination, has received a letter stating that his pass may be suspended or revoked if he continues to disrupt briefings. The letter cites multiple instances where Ateba interrupted or spoke over other reporters. The warning comes as the White House implements new rules for press passes, requiring reporters to meet certain criteria. His membership in the White House Correspondents Association was also not renewed because of his behavior. Now he's gained attention on social media and among right-wing media outlets, portraying himself as a victim of censorship. But I've looked at this, and I guess the question is, I mean, there aren't that many reporters that are there in the daily press briefing, right? I would say less than 50 is what it looks like to me. I could be wrong. But if you go every single day, if you go to every single press briefing, how many months need to go by when you're not called on before you speak up? 1 month, 2 months, 6 months? I would say if you're trying to ask a question for 6 months and you're constantly ignored, I might speak up too. What is the point of having a press briefing if you're not taking questions from the press? You know, this happened under Trump. Trump, you know, they would take questions seemingly from everyone. I don't remember hearing that they were not taking questions from particular reporters under the previous administration. But I remember Trump's White House was like, hey, Acosta's got to go. And they, because of some rules, right? And hang on a sec. Let me check something here. Okay. There we go. Just checking. Okay. But Jim Acosta, they tried to say, you're out, you know, like you can't come in here anymore. And I think it went to court, and they said, no, you can't do that. He's a reporter, and you got to let him in the briefing room. So, I don't know. What you could do, right, if you wanted to solve this question, you could just call on every reporter at some point, right? You could just take their question. Then you could chalk it up like, hey, I took your question. You know, I took your question a couple weeks ago. What are you talking about, right? Just stay late one day and let everybody ask a question. It's not that hard. But they're not doing this because it's not hard. They're doing this because they don't want tough questions. They only want to take questions from approved sources that, toss them up softballs. So, anyway, that's the way I see it. But, people disagree. Anyway, I kind of like him. I kind of like Simon. I find him charismatic and charming. And I would like it if he were able to ask some questions of the press secretary. Kind of seems the point of having a press secretary is to talk to the press. But, what do I know? I'm probably missing something. Anyway, let's get to some good news. Did you hear about Chipotle's? Probably saying that wrong. Chipotle's new robot, Autocado. Yeah, they're automating the guacamole process. I guess they finally realized that millennials need their avocado fix at lightning speed. I mean, who's got time to wait for a human to painstakingly peel and pit an avocado? We need our guac ASAP, people. But hey, let's just hope the Autocado doesn't gain sentience and start demanding minimum wage. We don't want a robot uprising at a burrito joint, do we? No. So here's the story. Chipotle has developed a robot called Autocado to automate the process of peeling avocados for guacamole. It can halve, peel, and core up to 25 pounds of avocados, reducing the time it takes to make guacamole. Avocado works alongside kitchen staff and is currently in a prototype stage. So I want to give you a look at this here. Check this out. Here we go. You dump them in there. Goes into the big machine. They have them, and there you go. You pull out a bowl of ready-to-make avocados. Man, that's pretty incredible. That's pretty awesome. When you have technology and you can make things easier and better for everyone. As someone that has worked making guacamole before, I can tell you, man, that this is great. This is great. I used to do back when I was a kid. I would do that tableside guacamole, where we'd bring out a guacamole and a half, and I'd have to scoop it out, put it in a bowl, take 2 forks, kind of hold them as a fan, mash it up, throw in, onion and tomato and peppers, and mix the whole thing up. Tableside. The worst thing about tableside guacamole is you'd really try to hide it right from your other tables, because once you took it out to one table, all the other tables around there go, oh, that looks good. And they're like, yeah, I want some of that too. And it's so contagious, right? It spreads just like, I don't know, gender dysmorphia, right? It just spreads. It's a social contagion. The want of tableside guacamole. And, man, that's tough. You got like 6 tables. You're trying to take care of everyone, and now everyone wants guacamole. Oh, that was the worst. But Chipotle's got a little something for that. Anyway, this looks like a fun robot. Safe, makes things easier. When you're cutting that avocado, usually I would, you hold it and you got a big knife. You're doing this business. I mean, you could really easily cut yourself. So, that's good news, right? That's good news. Anyway, stick around after the little goodbye music. I will be going through all of your comments on both Rumble and on YouTube. So, and if not, I'll see you tomorrow on a Friday. Fact Check Friday. Peace. What is up, y'all? Here we go. Huh. No one's on Rumble. What is happening over there? Nothing? Oh, we got 4 people watching. No comments. That's okay. You don't need to comment, but I would appreciate a like. Let me know you're real and not just a guacamole robot watching my stream. That'd make a difference for me. So thanks for hitting the like button over there on the Rumble and on YouTube. I appreciate y'all. Yeah, let's check out the comments. Lucid Moments checking in early. Saying it's over 100 degrees with the humidity in the middle of Tennessee today. Well, I am glad that I am not in Tennessee today. Because that is not my cup of tea or my cup of coffee. I hope the SAG goes too. Yeah, they are. Pickle jars for Hillary. Oh, I remember pickle jars for Hillary. I haven't seen you in a while, so glad you're checking out the show. Glad you're here. Our collective hearts bleed for all those poor Hollywood millionaires. I agree. It's got to be so difficult. And I know they're going to turn around and say, no, this is for everyone. It's for catering. It's for, the people that do the stuff in the background and do construction and make the sets and all that kind of stuff. I know it's for everyone. But, we have representatives for these things, and we just think of the Hollywood millionaires. Maybe the strike will give Hollywood a chance to come up with an original plot line. Well, perhaps. You can hold your breath on that one. But I'm gonna talk about it and think. I'm gonna sit down with my family and figure out what I can do. That proposal by MTG sounds like something Trump would do. Yeah. We're going in deep this time. There are... yeah, Martin, you're a quarter of the show. Thanks for being here. Doom Atog. Hate them both is the only acceptable answer in my book. Yeah, it's funny. I think that those people that only criticize Republicans, well, they're half right. Those people that only criticize Democrats, well, they're half right. You're halfway there, looks like we got some buffering again, but hopefully we'll be back. Look at the live analytics. See what's going on. Okay. Well, we did have a glitch, but we seem to be back. How much suspension of disbelief must one employ to actually support one of the political parties in current year? It is a lot of suspension of disbelief, but I think the issue that I believe is that if you never challenge what you think, you're going to be stuck with the same ideas forever. If I think back, if I listened to the same music that I did when I was 7, right, I'd still be listening to Kenny Rogers. But that's the thing is we have to keep challenging what we believe. And I will say most people don't do that. They just never even bother. And it's just, they have a default setting. And they have their opinion, right? And that's what their opinion is. And there's no reason to challenge it because they already have it. And you know what? I was like that for a lot of my life. So I understand that, I understand why people are like that. Because I never bothered. I mean, prior to me doing this show, I really didn't watch the news. I really didn't read a whole lot of stuff in the news. I didn't. I would just kind of absorb everything through whatever else I was doing in my life. And I never really questioned it until I started doing this show. And then then I did. And then all my thoughts have changed, you know? So I understand why so many people don't do it. I get it. I was there myself. Yeah. Maybe if the idea were presented first without divulging who it came from, then you could spring it on them. Yeah, that's a fun trick. You've seen this done. The old switcheroo is the classic, where you say, "Oh man, can you believe Trump?" You know, someone that hates Trump, you'd say, "Oh yeah, can you believe Trump did this?" And he has these cages down on the border that they put the kids in, and all this kind of stuff. And people go, "Yeah, that's horrible." And you go, "Aha, Obama did it." And it's the old switcheroo. Gotcha. But you know what? People really aren't persuaded by the gotcha. They're not. They just become defensive and they double down. I really don't know the best way to do that, other than like just the Socratic method. And I should probably just make a video on the Socratic method. But essentially, when you're talking to someone, they say something, you just keep asking why. Oh, why? Oh, how do you know that? Oh, where'd you get that from? Oh, that's interesting. Did you? But I should make a video on that. I think that's probably, like throughout history, that's probably you have to make someone figure it out themselves, for the most part. So yeah. How could you call out a channeler so he does not notice? I'm not sure what that is by his name. How could you call out so he does not notice? I don't know. I'm not sure what that means. Let's see. Simon asks questions though, and they're terrifying for liars. Yeah. Government can't run press briefings any better than they can run the FBI, CIA, DHS, etc. Well, there's probably a lot of truth to that. The answer is necessarily are part of the question. You offer a convenient type of answer. Okay. Skynet was born out of AI avocado peelers. Very true. Coffee worked at Chevy's. I did not work at Chevy's. I was in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I was at Garduño's. So anyone that knows Albuquerque knows Garduño's. I was at the Garduño's, I guess it was the Margarita Factory. It's probably the biggest, I'm going to say, without even checking into it, the biggest Mexican restaurant in America. And it was New Mexican, by the way, not, so it was a mix of Mexican, but New Mexico style. It has its own unique thing there. Because a simple knife cut is so boring, we need a machine that can screw up and require maintenance and repair. I don't know, sometimes machines work well. Yeah, I'm sure there's money in maintenance and repair. I get that. But it's probably a lot less than paying for someone like slicing their hand open. You could just buy a new one. Okay. Tableside guac is useful for impressing your date. Perhaps. Guess you'd have to have a date if you wanted to impress her, I guess. Thanks for the comment, Fat Cyborg. Nice. Love guacamole. Yeah, guacamole's great. Let's see. I'd like to eat avocado out of the shell after sprinkling it with garlic salt. Less work, less cleanup. Okay. Yeah, I just like scooping up guacamole and just slicing it. And I'll have just like a half a avocado sliced. Ooh. So good. You could put that on any dinner plate and it's going to be good. I'm not against Democrats because I'm on
the same side as Republicans. I'm against Democrats because they are on the same side as Republicans. Boom! Mic drop. True meeps. The regime clearly shows us who to side with. I agree. True meeps. Dropping the truth bombs. Tom knows when to hold 'em and when to fold 'em. Yeah, that was like my first like pop song that I liked as a kid, you know, that was on the radio. I was very, very tiny. But I just love that. Socratic method and careful listening. Which one is your favorite Biden? Sorry for the nonsense above. Very tired. Oh, that's who I truly am. No worries. It's all good, Martin. I appreciate all the comments. We got one last one. As long as the guacamole machine isn't made by the guys that made the shake machine at McDonald's. Exactly. We could get into some conspiracies about the shake machine at McDonald's. There's all kinds of conspiracies about that. I think that'd be fun to talk about sometime. Anyway, I will be back tomorrow with a fact check and a show. Hope you all have a beautiful day. Stay out of the heat, and we'll see you next time. Peace.